Still trying to decide what I'm going to do with this where I'm going to mount the fuel pump. This is the fuel pump that I spoke to you about before. It's this Bosch 044 Motorsport pump that I'm really keen on using with that engine, and because I've got it as well, so I might as well use it. This is a Bosch inline fuel filter after pump filter, and you can see here this is one configuration that they could go as if I was to mount them both together. The pump is just a bit too big to put in the standard area. Let me get rid of these random nuts that keep on appearing in my videos. Yeah, if I just quickly show you, hang on. This is where the obviously the standard area for it to go. It mounts off the lower lower left tank strap. It's supposed to just go there. I mean, this is just too big though. This pump. I'm thinking of putting it elsewhere. Yeah, it's just not gonna work there. I'm not happy with it. Even if I take off the blue bracket, it's still not gonna. Yeah, it's still a lot bigger than the standard pump. So I think I'm thinking of possibly putting it. If I can just contortionist. I'm thinking about actually putting it up above the prop bars, above the rear end of the gearbox along there, and mounting it on a plate. Yeah, mounting it on a aluminium plate above the back end of the gearbox, together with the fuel filter as well, in that sort of configuration. There's just about enough room up there to do that, and that also saves me having to find somewhere in the engine bay, which is fairly tight, to put the filter in as well. So I think I might go that way. Well, I've kind of half decided, because I've ordered up the some aluminium plate anyway, so I mean it won't be a wasted thing, because I can still use it for something else. But I'm gonna give this a go and try if I can mount these both together on a plate on insulated rubber vibration damping bolts underneath the van. Yeah, and see how they fit. So yeah, I think I'll give that a go. We'll see how. I'll wait until the plate comes and I'll have a look and see what it looks like. So not having the parts to do the to mount the fuel pump at the moment, I've had to crack on with some other stuff, and it's a lovely day. It's nice and warm today. What I've done is I've got underneath the front of the van, and I took all of the front suspension off. Took about, with the steering rack, took about 2 3/4 hours. It really was quite a nice job, quite a nice day. Listening to the radio. Yeah, underneath there, just taking all the stuff off, all came off really easily. So much different to the donor vehicle, which was just one hell of a job. It really was, with everything rust welded in. So yeah, I'm really pleased with that. It's got that out of the way, because I think it's going to get quite cold next week. It's supposed to anyway, and I don't really want to be on my back too much on this this cold garage floor. So this is what it looks like underneath now, with all the suspension removed and the steering rack as well, so we can get to see where a lot of this stuff that's got to come off. Obviously this goes entirely, along with that up to there, the bracket up there, and obviously the steering rack as well has got to come off, and the Syncro rack will go on in its place, and a few other little modifications as well that'll go on. This one, I think I might actually cut this one off this afternoon, because I don't have to be too careful about what I'm doing there, because it's actually just coming off. Yeah, that will leave a void up here where this comes off, and what a lot of people do on almost every single build thread that I've looked at, they all weld a plate above that void there. And I can see why you have to do it, because along here on the two-wheel drive you've got this cut out here for whatever reason, so it's not continuous all the way through. But let me show you something. The nice things about having a donor vehicle, not just all the parts, is you actually get to see, you can see where everything is and what was there in the first place. And you can see that where that radius arm, that bit that goes across here, I think it mounts the radius arms on, or whatever they're called. On the actual Syncro, this 16-inch Syncro, the gap's still there. Now I've still got to do something because this is actually wider than you can see. It comes out a little bit from the chassis rail there, and it comes out and there, but they actually haven't got a plate welded over, which what a lot of people do. They continue that across there. I think I'm still going to do that anyway, because to be honest with you, anything that stops mud and crap going up into the chassis rail has got to be a good thing. But yeah, I just thought it's something I'd mention really. This is another section of the donor vehicle and its chassis. You can see where I took off the. This is where I cut it in half, but this is also where I took out the power steering rack mount. And but just to show you here, you can see some additional strengthening that come. I'm assuming it's for the 16 inch. I mean, I'd like to take it off and actually use it on mine, but to be honest with you, it's just too rusty. Well, certainly these back plates are. You can see these strengthening plates that are on the back of the chassis rail. And they're so rusty that they've actually even started to move away from the chassis itself. Look, there's a void, there's a gap between there. So you can see, but it's interesting just to point out really, I suppose, some of the strengthening that went in there for the 16 inch. And the same goes also for the other side. You can see again this strengthening piece here that went in, tucked in between underneath here. And again, that's so rusty that's actually again moved away from the chassis rail, which is a shame, because I would have actually tried to take that off along with this extra bit of strengthening as well. It's all in a bit of a funny position, so it's hard to, I don't know if you can visualise it, but that's obviously the turret mount, and you can see there that there's an additional piece of strengthening that went in across here, went up there, and it also curves around, actually curves around here and welds onto attaches to the top of the turret mount there. So yeah, I'd like to and I might next week I might actually explore taking that off if I can get it all off in one piece, and maybe giving it a good old sandblast and seeing what I can do with it, because I'd really like to take that off and put it on my van. But I don't think I'm going to be able to be honest with you. I mean, I'm certainly not going to be able to use this again. This plate here, I could replicate it, but it's in such a crap state. It really is. This van was just so rusty. Yeah. Anyway, that's. I thought it might be interesting just to see some of the strengthening work that went into. I'm assuming. I mean, this is a 16-inch Syncro, and I'm assuming that it was only the 16s that got this extra plate in around, specifically around the turret mount, the front turret, and those load points on the chassis. I'm sure maybe if I'm wrong that someone can let me know.